As we spent time evaluating the Major League club, it became clear to me that we would benefit from a change in leadership.
Again, it's an emotional time for me. Manny approached me this winter about coming on the staff, so I'm still trying to process a lot of that right now, and just really focus on the next 10 days and see how we can finish strong.
Well, it is an overcast, very humid evening here in Arlington as we get ready for the opening game of this weekend series with the Mariners at Globe Life Park. But it's a day where we heard more news here at the ballpark than anything else. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Dave Raymond. CJ Nikowski will be alongside here shortly. We'll hear from Emily Jones as well. The news today, maybe a bit of a surprise to a lot of folks, and that is the very popular manager Jeff Bannister will leave of his duties in just 10 games shy of what would be his 4th full season as the manager. John Daniels citing the need for a new voice of leadership. You look at what Banny accomplished in his nearly 4 seasons with the Rangers. 325 wins has him 4th in franchise history, the 2 division titles in his opening 2 years, and as a rookie, the American League Manager of the Year. He certainly accomplished plenty in his short time here, but CJ, this is certainly an indication that the Rangers rebuild may be on a different path than we knew.
Yeah, it could be. It's a really discouraging day, I think, for a lot of guys, and certainly some shocking news. And whenever you're in that big league clubhouse, you're not really expecting your manager to change in the middle of the season. Yes, we're near the end, only 10 games to go. But certainly, I think, a difficult time for the guys as they process exactly what happened today. And this position has changed a little bit over the last couple of years. We saw it this past winter with the different hirings and a lot of inexperienced managers, and it sounded like organizations were looking for some different things out of their managers. So just a much different spot, I think, that we're in right now, and you just never know exactly what's going on in that clubhouse. We speculate a lot from the outside, so you're never exactly sure what it is that led to this.
Yeah, it does seem that very much of it is about what happens in that clubhouse and how the players feel. And for a little more on their reaction today, we check in with Emily Jones.
Yeah, you guys mentioned the timing. I think that's what caught most guys off guard, was the fact that it did happen with just 10 games to go here in the regular season. And as you guys mentioned, John Daniels citing the need for a fresh voice, a new voice coming from that manager's office. When I took that information into the clubhouse and spoke with the players about it, in particular Adrian Beltre, how he would respond to that line from John Daniels, he said, look, we're all different. We all communicate differently. We all handle different types of communication differently. But one thing about this clubhouse is that we're going to handle matters internally. We're going to keep things inside here. So everybody may have a different reaction as to the firing of Jeff Bannister, and there won't be one blanket reaction. He won't speak for anyone else. But Adrian Beltre citing basically that they're going to keep those things in-house from here and from here going forward.
All right, thank you, Emily. And so it is a changing of the guard for the Rangers. Don Wakamatsu takes over as an interim manager from this point forward. One thing not changing, though, for the Rangers, and that is the continued experimentation with the opener. Connor Sadzik will get the shot again today, his 2nd career big league start. We'll put the concept and the success of this experiment with the Rangers in the spotlight when we come back. Rangers baseball is brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer during the Ford SUV season. Ford is the best in Texas. By the new Shiner Wicked Juicy IPA. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Rangers baseball is presented by the new Shiner Wicked Juicy IPA. It is wicked juicy here today. Rain earlier this afternoon, more expected later on tonight, but for the time being, we have playable conditions here at Globe Life Park. The Rangers and the Mariners opening game of this series, and in our spotlight today, we want to talk about the opener again.
Yeah, so we have seen this now around Major League Baseball, but the Rangers have used it a few times, and I think it's safe to say that it has been successful so far. Sometimes you look at the first guy coming in and say, okay, well, if the opener pitches well, does that mean it is a success, or does it matter as far as what the guy who comes behind him, the primary pitcher? We've seen Gerardo do this 3 times. We saw Yohander Mendez do it once, and you see the overall numbers, and for the most part, it has gone pretty well for the Rangers. You see that 3.48 combined ERA. We'll see it again this evening, and think right now the evaluation on how much the Rangers will use this going forward is kind of a work in progress.
Well, for Connor Sadzik, it means another opportunity to make a start tonight against the Seattle Mariners. Mariners come in 84 wins and 68 losses. They're 11 back of Houston in the division, eliminated from the division race, but still with a slim hope in the wild card race. Their lineup today: Mitch Haniger in the leadoff spot, Gene Segura at short, Robinson Cano at first. It's Cruz, Seager, and Span in the middle. Ben Gamble in right field bats seventh. Zunino catches, and D. Gordon at second base will round things out for the Mariners.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the new Shiner Wicked Juicy IPA pitch arsenal for Connor Sadzik. 4-seam fastball, changeup, two-seamer, curveball, the slider that he will use as well so far for the rookie, and it's been a pretty successful campaign for him, and that changeup has been very good for him. He has only allowed just a 100 batting average against. He also has not allowed a hit against the curveball or the slider yet so far.
The hard-throwing right-hander making his second big league start. He's also pitched in relief on 7 other occasions this year.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the Rangers defense this evening, which is delivered to you by DeMontron Arvey. It's Willie Calhoun, Joey Gallo, and Nomar Mazara in the outfield this evening. And in the infield for the Rangers, you will see Adrian Beltre at third, Elvis Andrews at short, Rougned Odor at second, Jurickson Profar at first, and it is Robinson Chirinos behind the plate doing the catching.
It brings up Mitch Haniger to lead things off for Seattle. And Haniger fairly recently has taken over the leadoff duties for the Mariners, and that has gone quite well for him. Haniger now, this is the 38th game for him in that leadoff spot, hitting .333 with 8 home runs and 28 runs scored in those 37 previous starts in the leadoff spot. Scott Service really likes him there, and he takes a strike to get it started tonight. There you go, 15 doubles as well. 78 degrees tonight with that first pitch. Overcast skies, lots of moisture in the air. And a breaking ball in there, the count 0-2.
And a sharp one too from Sadzik, and talked about this with him. We know he's got the good high velocity, high octane fastball, but the success that he has in the big leagues, a lot of that will have to do with that breaking ball, and that was a good one right there.
Just off that outside corner at 99 miles per hour. So there's that good power arm right out of the gate when you're an opposing hitter. So look that by and large guys aren't used to seeing as they step to the plate for the first time in an evening.
Yeah, I think that's part of it as well. It's not just what you're doing with your primary pitcher, right? That secondary guy who is being brought in to try to avoid seeing the middle of the lineup potentially a third time around, but then also disrupting the rhythm of those first couple of hitters in the order, as you mentioned, seeing a power arm especially, or even if it's Alex Claudio, right, the funky lefty, whatever it is, has a much different look for hitters to start off a game than they're used to.
Off the plate, and Haniger has run the count full. It almost strikes me, we talk a lot about how difficult pinch hitting is in the big leagues. In some ways it's got a similar feel, right? I mean,
sure,
you're coming off the bench cold, right? You're just leading off the ball game, and you're seeing a guy, the type of guy you might see in one of those tough late inning spots. 3-2. Oh, just missed, and Haniger draws the leadoff walk.
97-mile-an-hour fastball. Looked like it might have caught the down and in corners really close. And Sadzik does not get the call. That has been one issue for him so far, is the walks, and it's been limited action for him in the big leagues, but the walks and the strikeouts have been an even 1-for-1. Connor Sadzik.
So Haniger with his lead at first, and Gene Segura going right after strike one.
And one of those walks was intentional, but 5 walks, 5 strikeouts coming into this one, and his 6 1/3 so far in the big leagues.
Not a huge lead for Haniger, and he's not going. Segura, a pop-up out into short center. Gallo now drifts back a couple of steps, and there's one away. So the Mariners, mentioned, still alive in the wild card chase, but boy, the start of the season, they were so good. Really one of the great stories in baseball. 55-31 into Independence Day, but since July 4th, this is a team 8 games under 500. The offensive production has gone down quite a bit. The pitching has hit some rough patches, and now 7.5 back in that chase for the second wild card. They need pretty much a perfect finish from here. Not only that, but they need help.
Didn't they have a pretty good record in one-run games too? Right, they were crushing it, right? Yeah. And that was one of those things that, and I don't always fall into this camp, what some folks do. They'll look at it and say, well, that can't continue. That's going to be a problem at some point. You can't continue to dominate one-run games. You can if your bullpen is really on. You have a smaller margin for error, but certainly I think things did indeed catch up to the Seattle Mariners.
Inside, and it is 2-0 on Robinson Cano.
People were saying that, what was it, 2 years ago with the Rangers, that incredible record that they had, but that continued throughout the year. They were able to sustain that.
To the great frustration, I think, of a lot of opponents, right? I mean, that's part of it too. Even with the Mariners this year, people would see what was going on, and it would be aggravating to say, well, you can't keep winning those games like that. It's, statistically speaking, it is not reliable. High chopper to first. What a play by Profar to get up and grab it. And he'll put out Cano for the second out of the inning.
What a nice play by Jurickson Profar, and talked a lot about his year and how he has moved around all the different infield positions so far this year. And playing third base is not the same as playing first. You're on the complete opposite side. You get different bounces, and you see him get up here and corral this ball. Does a nice job of getting back in plenty of time. We know Robinson Cano wanted to maybe not always bust it out of the box, and so it's an easy 3-U for Jurickson after he makes that very nice play.
So Haniger now out at second for Nelson Cruz, but there are 2 out. And he takes strike 1. So here you go, 1-run games.
Yep.
Seattle is 36-21. That's really good. In games decided by 2 runs, they're 16-6. How about this extra innings? 13-1. So yeah, they have had a lot of success winning those close ones late. Cruz takes another strike to count 0-2. Connor Sadzik, a walk, and the fly out and the ground out. Big right-hander, 1 strike away from putting up a 0 in the first inning. Cruz stays alive.
It's another good year for Nelson Cruz. It really is amazing to watch what he has done as he gets later and later in his career. This is age 37 season, although he is 38 years old. He's that guy that's got the borderline birthday, July 1st. So if he was born a day earlier, it would change it, right? I think as it go at the end of whatever it is, another day would make this his actual age 38 season. Nevertheless, he is 38 years old, and just another big year, 36 home runs with 90 RBIs.
He's top 10 in the league in home runs, RBIs, slugging percentage. He is our TXU Energy power player to watch. How about this? The only player with 35 or more home runs in each of the last 5 seasons. He is Mr. Consistency. He's also a free agent at the end of the year.
Man, it's going to be an interesting one to watch, right? Because we've seen those price tags come down, but something to be said for consistency. The fact, obviously, that you can DH him, and you'd prefer to DH him. So you got to believe there's at least 15 teams that would have some kind of interest in Nelson Cruz to have that kind of. It really comes down to, I guess, what he's looking for, because we've seen the prices come down of all these hitters. But man, he's been really good. And the batting average you look at and say maybe nothing special at 262, but he's been good in these spots. Runners in scoring position. He's hitting over 300. This guy still knows how to hit.
He's worked the count to 2-2. And it's now full.
I guess it's, you don't want to be the team that gets caught, you know, right? Like, how much longer is it going to happen? At some point, it's going to slow down. I was talking to Dave Sims earlier and just kind of spitballing on what you could potentially see. Dave Sims, of course, one of the voices of the Seattle Mariners, but what you could potentially see for a contract. You know, do you go 2 years with a really high AAV? Does he try to get 3, right? You get a lot of guys that try to get the most amount of years that they possibly can guaranteed. 3's probably pushing it, I got to believe, taking into his age 41 season.
Well, a big payoff pitch here, and he takes that one outside, and Cruz has drawn a walk. So 2 walks here in the first. So Nelson Cruz, we talked about 5 straight years of 35 or more home runs. The only guy right now in baseball able to claim that. You look historically, players with 5 or more years at 35 or more home runs at their age, right? At 33 and older. Aaron, Bonds, Babe Ruth, Rafael Palmeiro joining Cruz on that list.
It's amazing.
That is a handsome list.
And that's the thing we have to be careful, right? Is that a lot of times we have these conversations about age, and we say, well, you know, this is a number you want to stay away from. But not everybody. Age is the same. Some guys obviously worse than others, present company included. You know.
Oh, you're all right. You're all right. Don't worry. No, it's a conundrum of sorts for Seattle. That's the other thing, right? I mean, it certainly seems to be comfortable. It seems to work well for him in that Mariners whatever system situation. I mean, he's good in that clubhouse. He is a very well-liked player, it seems like, no matter where he has been. I'd be awfully intrigued if the Mariners did not find a way to bring him back, as Sadzik gets the first one in there now to Kyle Seager. Seager has struggled against the Rangers this year, a 176 average, but don't be fooled by that. A guy who has found a way over the years to do more than his fair share of damage. Takes another strike, 0-2, and Sadzik continues to jump ahead of these Mariners hitters. Now we'll see if he can put Seager away. There is activity in the Rangers pen.
So you have Martin Perez up right now to potentially finish off the inning. And then Gerardo, who is going to be used as that primary pitcher, to come in next. And so he has to throw in case the inning ends now, and he's used to that starter's routine. He needs a little bit more time.
This one in the air out to center field. Gallo going back on it, and he makes the play. That ball is carrying pretty well. Inning is done, and the Rangers managed to strand 2.
Well, welcome back, Joey Gallo. I guess the toe feels okay as he ranges to his right, reaches up, makes a nice play in deep center field.
Take their hacks tonight. 64 wins, 88 losses at our Southwest Airlines starting lineup. Chu leading it off as a DH. Profar at first. Elvis Andrus at short. In the middle of the order, it's Mazzara, Beltre, and Odor. Chirinos does the catching. Gallo back in the lineup in center field, and Willie Calhoun in left will bat 9th. That all against Erasmo Ramirez, making his 10th start of the year. 2-3 record, a 5.65 ERA. Gets one right in there for a strike. Chu just a shade under 270 for the year. 21 homers, 62 RBIs. A great year for Chu, start to finish. On base up over 380. He's been very consistent, and he's managed to stay healthy. That's been such a big key for him. Won't take the bait on that one. 1-2. Ramirez this year has given up some home runs. 13 of them in 43 innings. This ball out over short into center field. That's a base hit. And Chu is on to start the night for the Rangers.
Take a look at the replay here on the Chu base hit. That finishes out left center field. Good look at that kind of change-up grip. As that ball fades away, it finishes off the plate, but this is what Chu does so well. You see him kind of reaching, staying balanced, and just slapping that thing into center field. Yeah, you mentioned those home runs. They've been an issue, but they've come in bunches. Kind of a weird way that Ramirez has gotten there. He allowed 3 home runs in his last game. He allowed 3 in his previous 6 games combined. And then he let up 5 home runs in a game on April 27th. I thought, well, that must be pretty weird. Almost like 4 or 5 other guys that have done that this year, allowing 5 home runs in a game. That was right before he went on the DL back in April.
Yeah, he's had a couple of stints on the disabled list this year. A man on, Profar. Hits this one foul, and the count 0-2. Jurickson with 18 home runs and 74 RBIs. A real good all-round season for Jurickson Profar. Today getting the start at first base. Yeah, there you have it. Career highs in those 2 big run production categories. And an OPS closing in on 800 for the year. That'd be nice to get to that number. Finish the year at 800 or better in his on base plus slugging.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's one of the more common numbers that, if you're looking for one, that you can universally get a lot of people to kind of wrap their brains around and agree, whether they're in the industry or just fans. OPS, as you mentioned, the on base and the slugging, and to see him well above league average is definitely a good sign for Jurickson.
Oh, Erasmo Ramirez strikes him out for the first out of the inning.
Well, that'll give us an opportunity to take a look at the pitch arsenal for Ramirez, which is presented by the new Shiner Wicked Juicy IPA. And now a lot of pitches here: 4-seam fastball, cutter, changeup, slider, and curveball. And there's actually a 2-seam fastball in there. I combine those together, the 4-seamer and the 2-seamer, and it's just a full repertoire for this right-hander. And you'll actually see most of those fastballs are 2-seamers over 4-seamers. So the idea of trying to get ground balls is part of the plan there for Ramirez. Not a huge strikeout guy, just 6.5 strikeouts per 9, but he does a nice job of filling up the strike zone. His walk rate, 2.1 walks per 9 innings. That is an excellent rate.
Andrews at the right side and takes a little bit in. Elvis, 6 home runs, 32 RBIs this year. A year interrupted by a 2-month stay on the disabled list. It's just the first time in his career that he had to visit the DL. And Elvis has managed to get himself back, and he's had some stretches where he's played really well. Lately, in a bit of a scuffle. 116 average over the last 11 games. He takes low. It's 2-1. But earlier there was a stretch. He had a 19-game hitting streak. He was tied for the longest in baseball this year. Three and one.
I think what we have seen with Elvis this year, right, dealing with that first time on the DL, that was difficult for him, no 2 ways about it. And then trying, I think, after coming off a career year last year, you want to replicate that. Now, obviously, the counting numbers aren't going to get there after you miss a significant amount of time. But I think we saw him pressing a little bit. We saw him running into some bad luck, and we've seen him chase a little bit up out of the zone. That's got to be tough for him. I mean, you try to put yourself in his shoes, and that was a monster season he had a year ago, and not his fault that he got hurt on that pitch that got away from Middleton. And you want to prove that last year wasn't a fluke, and I think when you get into those spots, you probably press a little bit to try to get those numbers back up quickly.
Three-one pitch, and that one is off the plate for ball 4. So the Rangers have 2 men on. Chu is running, but he'll stop at second. Andrews on via the walk, and so something building here with the first.
Let's take a look at the Mariners defense, which is sponsored by Jack in the Box, Denard Span, Mitch Haniger, and Ben Gamble in the outfield for Scott Services Club. And in the infield, it's Kyle Seager, Gene Segura, Deke Gordon, Robinson Cano at first base, and Mike Zunino behind the plate.
So set up nicely now for Nomar Mazara. 20 home runs on the year, 74 RBIs for Nomar. His average close to 265. And he'll take strike one. 10 of his last 16 hits have been for extra bases. One of the few guys who has pretty decent numbers against Ramirez. 3 for 6 against him. And the count 1-1. Yesterday, an off day for the Rangers. A little break for everybody, including Nomar. 1-1 pitch, that's low. Nomar, since coming back from the disabled list, and this is his 29th game since returning. He's hitting .238. We see this with a lot of guys right now. The numbers may be down just a little bit in terms of average or on base. Last couple of weeks have been tough.
He's been really good in these spots, though. And listen, there's not a hitter in the league that doesn't like getting ahead. And when he has been in these spots so far this year, he's hitting .452. When the pitcher gets by. Now, league average is high at .356, and you would expect that, but he has been nearly 100 points better than league average.
Out to left field, but Span is right there, and there are 2 away.
And hit the third baseman, number 29, Adrian Beltre.
Well, that'll leave it up to Adrian Beltre. How about that? 5 doubles in the last 5 games, and they have really come in bunches lately for him. He's had a great month of September.
Just when you think, right? Well,
yeah.
Of course, age has got to get you sooner or later. Just when you think, oh, is it getting Adrian a little bit? And here he is in September, where you would think he might be his most tired and fatigued and maybe not be able to drive the ball as much as we're used to seeing. No, it's been the opposite. That's what's been so amazing about Adrian Beltre.
This one deep out to right field. Carrying toward the wall. It is gone! And Beltre has left the yard again. 14th home run of the season. Rangers strike first tonight. 3-0 on the Beltre long ball. Look out.
Helmet off. He's keeping an eye on any teammates that might be feeling a little bit frisky. And Chu trying to plead his case in that spot. But really unbelievably amazing to watch here, as we were just talking about, as this Smoke is having a hard time, I guess, getting through the little thicker sky that we're dealing with tonight, because everyone is just kind of standing around and realize that was a great shot right there of Kyle Seager. You may want to let things clear a little bit. But it really is amazing to see that what happens in these spots with Adrian Beltre. It's incredible that he can still do that this late in the year at 39 years old, hitting opposite field home runs.
Odor on the next pitch. Pops this one up into short left field. Span comes in, and that will do it. But the Rangers get on the board first. Adrian Beltre with a 3-run bomb.
Well, there he does it. The future Hall of Famer goes opposite field at 377 feet. He hit that ball 100 miles per hour. Adrian Beltre does it again. By a score of 3-0, and it's thanks to this Adrian Beltre home run. And you're going to see this fastball up over the plate and watch Adrian drive it the other way. And Statcast AI is powered by AWS, that launch angle of 30 degrees. Luckily, Statcast will not count the error on that fan, but the opportunity of a lifetime. Now, he ended up high-fiving his buddy who did get the ball, so I guess you get to kind of sort of keep it in the family. But that was a golden opportunity. We saw what happened with Adrian's last home run. The fan took great advantage of his opportunity, reeled it in with the glove in left field. And that is why you bring your glove to the ballpark.
Yes, it is. Ariel Jurado goes to work now in the 2nd inning. So Jurado will get Span, Gamble, and Zunino.
There are those numbers, and just like Connor Sadzik, very similar with the walk to strikeout ratio, pretty even at 1-to-1, and even 1-to-1 for him. And Sadzik had one more walk than strikeout coming into this game, and so these rookies figuring it out as they navigate their way through big league lineups for the first time. Jurado, a guy that you don't look at for a lot of swing and miss. That's not what his game is about. It's the ground balls. It's the good use of the sinker. A two-seam fastball, which you will see 62% of the time.
Span lifts this one out to center field, right to Joey Gallo. One away. Let's take a moment now to hear from the folks over at Southwest Kia.
At Southwest Kia, we've made car buying easy. $250 down delivers, monthly payments $250 a month or less. SouthwestKia.com.
One out for Ben Gamble now. Gamble, left-handed hitter. And he takes a strike. Just one home run and 16 RBIs this year for Gamble. It's jammed up there. The count 0-2.
I wonder, do you think Scott Service at all, how he kind of planned his lineup out this evening with the 5 lefties that are in there? Do you focus on, and you believe the primary pitcher, the secondary pitcher coming in is Jurado's had some issues with lefties this year. They're hitting .382 against him. You put him especially near the bottom of the order, knowing that's probably when he's coming in the game. Right, if the goal is to keep that primary pitcher away from facing the middle of the lineup a third time through, but the bottom of the order potentially you could face 3 times through, but put some tough hitters there, especially some lefties. Just wonder if that kind of counteracts or takes away a little bit from the strategy. That's the back and forth that happens here.
Yeah, I mean, so I've maintained that I think if opposing managers begin to construct their lineups for the opener concept, that you're winning by forcing them to do so. This one lined out to second, and Odor makes another nice play. 2 away. But that said, you know, if you've got some parts that to you feel, you know, more or less equal, to your point, Seager, Span, Gamble, all lefties in a row, and then Zunino giving way to another lefty in D. Gordon. I mean, he's definitely stacked it with a lot of lefties down there, and if you figure you're going to see Jurado, that first inning is a time usually to get starters. It makes some sense to me.
It's not like you're going to put Nelson Cruz down in the 7th spot. I don't think you will see a manager do that, but he may think twice about what he's doing with his bottom of the order. That's the part I think that is interesting. Is it worth it? I wonder what those conversations are like with your analytics department, managers, your hitting coaches, all of that.
Zunino, the flare out over center, or rather second base into center field, and he is aboard. So Andy Green did that when we were in San Diego, and he admitted it. He said before the ball game, yeah, one little tweak I made in concession, and as I recall, it wasn't a big one, and I don't think it really had a you know, a marked effect on the game, but I did think it was interesting that you would even consider that.
And then the next part of that is, how do players feel about it? Is it frustrating for them? Because we've already talked about a lot, utility players moving guys around. You don't know what position you might be playing that day, at least for some certain guys. We know where that guy's going to be playing, whether it's DH or third base. But you know, there's a lot of moving around. Jurickson Profar, a good example, right? Where is he going to be every day is always somewhat of a little bit of a mystery. But then now it comes down to, well, Are we facing a team that's using an opener? Is their opener righty or lefty? What is their primary guy? What does that mean for my playing time? And if you're looking for consistency, because the old adage was players love coming in, knowing where their name's going to be in the lineup and where they're going to be playing. Well, that is starting to become reserved for just a special few.
Yeah, I feel like those days are well past us. We just don't see it anymore. There are very, very few guys or teams that have a real structured lineup that you expect to see night after night. Ground ball to the right side, and that one is through for Gordon. And so the Mariners have a couple of men on here in the second.
Center fielder, Mitch Haniger.
Now the top of the order coming. Hey, be here tomorrow night. The last Saturday home game this year. These same two teams, Rangers Mariners, 7:05 first pitch. And all fans are going to receive a voucher for a free ticket to select games in 2019. Get your tickets now, TexasRangers.com, by calling 972-RANGERS. Just 2 games remaining on the home schedule after tonight.
7 of the final 10 against the Seattle Mariners. Yeah. We haven't played the Astros since when? July?
July, yeah, late July.
Weird schedule.
Breaking ball, that one catches a corner. 1-1 the count on Mitch Haniger. So Arado in his first inning of the night as the primary pitcher, coming in on the back of Connor Sadzik. Haniger in the leadoff spot, but a good run producer and a guy you have to be respectful of. Haniger has 90 RBIs. He's in the top 10 in the league.
It's a perfect example of how a leadoff guy gets his opportunities. We're just talking about stacking the lineup, maybe using some of those lefties, and your 8 and 9 hole hitters get a couple of base hits. I mean, there's opportunities. If D. Gordon is batting 9th, you know your leadoff guy is going to get some RBI opportunities.
Off the plate, 2-2.
He's in that spot as D. Gordon, where he's had a hard time getting on base, well below 300 on the on base percentage this year, but he can still make some things happen once he gets on the bases. Really wreaks some havoc.
Up into the bat, out toward left of center, but handled by Gallo, and that will end the inning. And so for the second inning in a row, the Mariners lead 2 out there. Rangers with a 3-0 lead.
Game time. I am a sucker for a handwritten note, and Kitty Thompson left me a handwritten note saying she should be the Progressive Fan of the Game because she has the sweetest kicks at the ballpark. So I came to find out if that's true, and let me tell you something, guys.
Oh my.
Absolutely is. Kitty, tell me the story behind these.
I just have a couple of other pairs of shoes made by this same guy, and I called him and I said, can I have some custom made ones with the Ranger logo on the toe? And he said, sure. So I got them.
Very snazzy. You get a lot of compliments on that?
All the time.
You will consider this the latest. They're looking good, girl. Progressive Fan of the Game for those kicks, guys.
Oh, nice.
They look comfortable. The socks weren't too shabby either. Those are pretty cool. Now the handwritten note issue, I don't know about you, but my handwriting is, it's gone in the tank, man. Digital age is killing handwriting. How about yourself? Can you still write a nice note?
Well, I've never had good handwriting.
Yeah.
My mom threatened to take me out of school and homeschool me when I was in 2nd grade. Yeah, because my handwriting was so sloppy. She's like, no recess, no lunch with all the other kids.
Really?
You'll just be here. We'll get that handwriting correct. It's like, geez.
And?
Never got any better.
Really? So was it?
I called her bluff. She didn't want me home all day.
That's a good point. I wrote 2 notes today, and they were absolutely atrocious. It's embarrassing. No spell check in my hand either, which is a real problem.
That's the killer for me.
I before what was that rule? Oof. It's embarrassing.
A full count here to Robinson Chirinos leading off the 2nd inning. Chirinos, Gallo, and Calhoun. And this one fouled over to the right side, out of play. Robinson doing the catching today, batting 7th. 17 homers and 62 RBIs for Chirinos. So he's had a really good year in that respect, driving in runs providing the power again. This one out to right center field and hangs up just long enough for Ben Gamble to get there. On away. All right, now Joey Gallo. And Gallo, another guy who has some good numbers against Erasmo Ramirez and also has shown some power. Now, this is all the way back in late April. That slightly opposite field over those guys in the bullpen who pretended like they didn't even see it.
Not even a flinch. They knew that ball was easily going to clear all their heads out there, and it's kind of always part of it. You remember these things as a pitcher. You remember home runs, and you should, but you remember the big ones, the opposite field home runs you remember a lot. And then you go through that process and asking yourself, okay, do I want to be a guy who's responsible for another one of those dents in the wall? Probably not. All right, so what do I do about it? Was it a bad pitch on my part? Is that a strength of his? Has he done that to other righties? And you go through all of that. Ramirez certainly has, and that's what the reports are for, and all that advanced scouting. And he tries to come up with a game plan, and so far that game plan is don't throw a strike.
So if you cut the field in half through the pitcher's mound, second base, and over to the left side, and he hit that ball to the left side, there's only one defender on the left side of the field, and I mean the entire field.
Yeah.
Denard Span. Out there and left. There's no infielder. And Span, the only guy to the left of. I mean, so they don't think that Gallo's going that way here again.
Which is amazing, right? The highlight that we just showed you. Yeah. We know he doesn't go opposite field too much. And the reality is, if he does, it's probably going to be something high in the air, or it's going to be over the fence.
I didn't defend that one. Well, the little trickler down the first baseline turns foul. 2-2. Really be showing me something if you position somebody there.
But Joey Gallo just does not hit very many ground balls to the left side. I mean, you take a look right there. I mean, that is absolutely amazing. Nothing.
You have more umpires on that side of the field than you have defenders. You have better chance of drilling an umpire than hitting it at a player.
That is amazing.
Van over at third. Rackley at second. Now the 2-2. That one low and inside. Full count.
Now there's a reason behind it. Why do they shift Joey Gallo? Because they know he's dead pull. It's pretty amazing what we're seeing. You should take a look at his overall numbers for the year. That career high 87 RBIs for Joey Gallo. And he certainly would love to add on. Be tough to get to that century mark here with 10 to go, but won't be for lack of effort.
Well, he takes his 71st walk of the season. So he is aboard here for Willie Calhoun. Just as happy and just as willing to take those walks these days. Calhoun, a couple of homers and 11 RBIs. 244 batting average this year. And he'll pop this one down the left field line, but into the seats, foul. Rangers got 3 runs in the first inning on the Beltre homer. Calhoun 2 for 17 with a homer since his second call up this year. It's just the 5th start that he has had. Called up on September 4th from AAA Round Rock. Way outside, and it is 2-1. This is Calhoun's second season in the Rangers organization. Last year acquired by Texas in the deal that sent Yu Darvish to the Dodgers. Young hitting prospect. Still learning his way defensively. Bounces this one up the middle. Gordon waits on it. Quick flip for one. Segura relays it to first in time for the double play. 4-6-3 ends the inning, and if 2 in the books so far, Rangers lead it 3-0. low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by the new Shiner Wicked Juicy IPA. Globe Life Park tonight as we go to the 3rd inning, and Gene Segura will start things off for the Mariners. Segura, Cano, and Nelson Cruz. Opening game in this final home series of the season. A bouncer to shortstop. Andrews with a good strong throw, one away.
That's the best version. It might sound silly. It was one pitch, one at bat, but that's the version of Gerardo that you really want to see. I mean, Gene Segura obviously is a really good hitter. If he can keep that two-seam fastball in the zone, keep the movement from not going horizontal but getting a little bit of vertical on it, that up to down, so you get hitters to swing early and hit the top half of the ball. That's what you want. We've seen him have his good games. That's when he's on. That's what works, and he's just got to figure out, how can I do that consistently, not just throw strikes, but get the movement that he wants on that two-seam fastball consistently. And then the last part is finding the secondary pitches that'll work best. He doesn't use them a ton, but he still needs to have them.
No, the big swing and a miss, 1-1. Last time up, Cano bounced one down to first. It was a real high hopper down there for Profar. He is 0 for 1. Jurickson all over the diamond these days. I suppose a couple years ago might be a place where you would not have expected to find Profar. Say the same about Cano. That's where he has started tonight. 3-1 the count. Served an 80-game suspension this year for violation of Major League Baseball's drug policy, and once he came back, he sort of had to figure out where he can fit in, and he takes the walk here in the 3rd inning. All right, our big story, as we like to call it, and we knew it was coming, but the Boston Red Sox, with their 3rd straight American League East Division title, and they finally clinched it yesterday in New York. Their 104th win of the season, with what, 10 games to go? So 9 games, I guess, to go for Boston. So we'll see what that final number ends up looking like. But what a year it has been.
That's a sweet one for them, because they get to do it in the Bronx. Listen, they'd love to do it at home, but if you can't do it at home, the next place you'd like to do it if you're a Boston Red Sox is right there in Yankee Stadium. And that's exactly what they did, and it's probably even a little bit sweeter. Got a couple of rookie managers there, Alex Cora, Aaron Boone, but I believe that the majority of people that were trying to handicap the American League East, they were giving it to the Yankees this offseason after they picked up Stanton, added him to the lineup with guys like Judge, and assuming Gary Sanchez was going to be healthy, there was all kinds of talk of what kind of records they could set and how easily they were going to win that division. And it was actually the Boston Red Sox when it was all said and done by a pretty healthy margin.
The second largest division lead and division capture this year in baseball. Cleveland will end up more than likely with a bigger margin. The Indians with a 14-game lead over Minnesota. The Indians also with the fewest wins among any division leaders in all of baseball, but they just happen to play in a bad division. What Boston did in a great division is that much more amazing. The 1-2. Cruz takes outside. One out, Cano at first base. Cruz walked in the 1st inning, but that was against Sadzik. He swings and misses here. A foul tip into Chirinos' glove. 2 away. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in with John Radigan. Good, buddy. Thank you. Over and out. That's been a rough White Sox season. 92 losses. And though their season long over, I can't imagine the delight in upsetting anything the Cubs are trying to do. It's huge. And Milwaukee still has a shot at taking that division. 2.5 back coming into play today. Just enough time left. So let's take a look at the National League Central. So now up to the minute, a 2-game difference, and those 2 games in the loss column as well as the win column. So Cardinals 5 back. They're not going to win the Central Division, but the Cardinals a great chance of the wild card. There's a strike, 2-1.
So we always talk about schedule and say things like you look at, right, just as the White Sox beat the Cubs, and at some point, well, they got a softer schedule. Well, the Milwaukee Brewers, they're playing the Pirates tonight. They're losing to the Pirates right now, 3-1. They're in a delay. They're 5-11 against the Pirates this year. To think that that is what was going to get in the way of them winning a division, right now 6 games under. Even if they had gone 500.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right? To think that they could have won a division had they taken care of business against a team like the Pittsburgh Pirates. And that's not a knock on the Pirates, just not having a great year. Not a team that you expect the Milwaukee Brewers with the year that they are having to be 5-11, and they're losing tonight 3-1.
Who is it though? There's somebody in the National League, I think the National League, who's been just stopped by the Reds this year. A bad year for the Reds. They just can't seem to beat them. This one fouled away by Seager. Keeps the count at 2-2. That's
the Brewers are went 13-6 against the Reds this year. But you run into those teams, and it happens, and it's pretty crazy when it does. And you kind of left there scratching your head, but that's what's great about our game.
Might be the Dodgers. Dodgers having trouble with the Reds this year.
Take a look here.
By the way,
Dodgers are yes, they're 6-1. The Reds are against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
So the Dodgers won 1 of the 7 games that they played this year against the Reds.
This one high in the air out to short right field. Andrews takes it with a little traffic out there. There's Buddy Odor, but the inning is done. And so we played 2.5 so far. Rangers lead 3-0. UCIPA. It is a 3-0 Rangers advantage as we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. And Shin-Soo Choo will lead it off. So top of the order here is Erasmo Ramirez. Bounces the first one up there. Did that get a piece of Choo? It did, apparently. Just nicked him, and so Choo is on to start the 3rd.
Take a look here. Looks like a slider grip down and in. Did it catch him on the top of the shoe? It did. It look like it might have hit the ground first. Not that that matters.
The 83rd time this year a Rangers batter has been plunked. Profar takes one down to the. That might not be fair usage of the word plunk.
Good point out. That wasn't really a plunking.
Not a plunking. Been hit by a pitch anyway, so Choo is on. And Choo, by the way, was 6 stolen bases this year. Small lead. Damp surface. And that one finds the edge of the zone for a strike to Profar, 1-1.
So I would not have known that. One of those things I probably don't pay that close attention to, but that the Rangers are 2nd in baseball. The hitters have been hit the 2nd most in the game. Did you know that?
Yeah, only because Stevie and I have been all summer keeping close count of it. They get hit all the time.
So the Rays are leading all of Major League Baseball. They have been hit 93 times coming into tonight. The Padres have only been hit 30 times, the least in baseball. Which there's a joke to be made there. I know which one I can see you smiling already. It's not nice. Not a nice joke.
1-2 pitch. And Profar stays alive.
As my wife likes to tell me, there's a little bit of truth in every joke.
There often is. It's true.
Well, I mean, she uses that in case I don't make any joke about her. I'm just joking. No. I think you really think that.
I think sometimes there are jokes that are just meant to be jokes. Bouncer by first. So Profar is on. Chu heads to third base. Jurickson will dive into second, although no throw is coming. A hit batter and a double to start the third.
That's a great job there by Jurickson. Profar, a hustle double. And he understands the surface tonight. You're just talking about how damp it is, and also the fact that he didn't hit this very hard. And as soon as he made this contact, he realized this was going through. He was thinking about that double, and that's the way you got to do it. We went through that with Tony Beasley. We had our Little League night the other night, and the idea of always thinking a base ahead and how important that turn is. Stay aggressive. That's a really nice read, and Profar gets in there easily.
So great RBI spot now for Elvis. He walked in the first inning. Ooh, tried to hold up that swing. You see him adjusting that pad on that right elbow. A similar play earlier this year against the Angels when he turned in on a pitch like that. Came riding in on him, hit him on that elbow, broke a bone in that elbow, and forced him to miss 2 months.
Looked like that hit the bat and then hit the elbow potentially. Pretty frustrating. See that one more time to see exactly what happened on that check swing. Two-seam fastball running in. Yeah, caught some bat. No, I guess it didn't catch the elbow.
Visit here in the third inning.
You got mid-at-bat pitching coach visit. You don't see that too often.
You don't. In our Southwest Airlines bullpen live look, they're getting ready out there right now.
So I wonder, that could be one of two things, right? Where you actually saw something that you wanted addressed, or you realized if a big hit comes here, you want to make sure you have your lefty to face Nomar Mazara, who is sitting on deck. And the way that Stottlemyre went out there, jogged back in a little bit. I don't know if that was necessarily about buying more time for his reliever, but nevertheless, an unusual kind of visit in the middle of the at bat.
1-1. And that one popped up on the infield. D. Gordon finds it, and that is out number 1. So it brings up Nomar Mazara. 0 for 1. He flied out to left field in the first inning, but going back again early in the season, back in April. And it was Mazara. This one, who pretty much, well, just to the right of straightaway center field. And that was a bomb. 1 of 20 this year for Nomar.
Cleared the bullpen there, right center field. That one was a line shot too. And we know when Nomar is swinging his best bat, he's not a launch angle guy. Doesn't hit the ball high in the air. It's those line drives, but certainly has plenty of power to get those out of the ballpark.
Infield stays in about halfway, as they did with Andrews.
Looks like they'll try to cut the runoff pretty much every spot except for a ground ball hit to the right side, at least the first base side, I should say. If it goes to D. Gordon at second, they probably would try to make a play on Chu, but if it goes to Cano at first, probably not, unless it's hit real hard. And that's the spot when you look at Cano and the way that he's playing deep on the first base side there. Of course, you're thinking if Nomar Mazara pulls the ground ball, they don't want to give him the opportunity to get it through, right? So you back up further to give yourself some more range. You concede the 1 run. You don't want it to happen, but you likely concede the 1. If you play up, you risk that chance of 2 scoring if that ball gets through.
Mazara chases in the dirt. 1-2 the count. For Cano, it's just his 9th start at first base. Mentioned that when he came back from his suspension, Jerry DiPoto, the general manager, said he's going to play a lot of first base. We like what D. Gordon's been doing at second. Well, he has played some first, he's played a little third, and he's also gotten back in there at second. But still a new position for him. There's D. Center fielder turned second baseman. And that's low, 2-2. He's still done most of his work at second.
So what do you think going forward? D. Gordon is under control. Robinson Cano's got a couple of more years on that deal. You try to just make him a full-time first baseman. Nelson Cruz, we mentioned, is a free agent. Would you want to use Robinson Cano as just your DH?
Ooh, strike 3 called. Mazara down looking, 2 away.
Now, Nomar didn't like that one. He thought that pitch was in off the plate. Working hard. This one was really, really close. Take a look at this. Fox Tracks had it probably maybe catching a little bit of the corner or just in. It's a little cutter, didn't have a lot of movement. I think Nomar probably thought that ball was going to move a little bit more. And you work so hard in an at-bat and you feel like you were successful, and then to have it taken away from you like that, at least the way that Nomar believes it was, is always a little frustrating.
So Beltre, who has driven in all the runs tonight, a home run back in the first inning. That, by the way, he came into the game tied with Stan Musial and Willie Stargell with 475 career homers. And that home run in the first moved him past those 2 Hall of Famers. Now 30th on the all-time list by himself. On the count 0-2. Next stop, Lou Gehrig and Fred McGriff.
My goodness.
That is super cool. Well, this one lifted in the air to the right side, but foul.
You never really hear Adrian talk very much about his own accolades. It's not something he's comfortable doing. And then also, a lot of players will tell you that you feel like you're starting to come to terms with the end while you're still out there competing and preparing. That's really difficult to do, but it's hard not to wonder, at least for us. We like round numbers, right? Think, is there 500 in there? Does he have it? I mean, certainly a full season he could get there, and I wonder how much Adrian, deep down, if he does care about that at all, to go 3,000 hits with 500 home runs.
1-2.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's tough. He's a tough one to read in general, but it's just been so hard, I think, the last couple of years staying healthy and all the work that goes into just getting himself out there every day. I don't know. He's still a blast to watch, though. 1-2. And that one is outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. One of the all-time greats. And to your point, we may be watching him here at home for the last time this weekend. 2-2 pitch inside, and it's a full count. Emily, what do you have?
Well, we had a conversation today, Adrian and I did, about those numbers, and is there anything out there left that he feels like he hasn't done? And he said, aside from winning a World Series, I really feel like I've accomplished everything I want to in my career. I've done everything I wanted to do personally and even as a team, other than win that World Series.
This one dropped out into right field, base hit. 2 runs in on a single by Beltre, and it's 5-0 Rangers. He's driven in all 5.
Absolutely amazing. He hits the opposite field home run at 100 miles an hour in his first at-bat. He gets down in the count 0-2, fouls off a pretty tough cutter, works it to a full count, gets another tough cutter right here, borderline pitch, and he reaches out, and as Adrian Beltre does so well, makes contact and enough to get that ball down in the outfield and to drive in 2 more runs. Simply amazing.
61 RBIs on the year for Beltre. Season high 5 already tonight. And the captain with a smile on his face. Rangers with a 5-0 lead, and the Mariners into the bullpen. And the Rangers continuing to work here in the 3rd inning. Our who's in, who's out pitching change, sponsored by In-N-Out Burger. Roenis Elias is the man who is in, and Erasmo Ramirez out. And Ramirez is still responsible for the base runner, Adrian Beltre, but Elias coming in for the 21st time.
You see the overall number is pretty good for him. Not a big strikeout rate for him, more of a contact pitcher, but has done a pretty good job filling up the strike zone. And what you'll see from Elias is a good fastball, one that averages at 94 miles an hour. You'll also see that curveball and that changeup as well. And the splits, not as favorable as you might think against lefties. They've hit 300 against him this season. He's actually done a very nice job against righties. Right-handed batters have hit just 214 against this left-hander. So those backward splits, but nevertheless, Scott Servais still wants to bring him in against the lefty and give him an opportunity to face Rougned Odor.
Odor popped out in the 1st inning, 0 for 1. And the first pitch from Elias, that one in there for strike 1. Beltre, by the way, with the 5 RBIs tonight. It gives him 1,703 in his career. He's passed Jim Thome, Reggie Jackson. He's 23rd on the all-time list there. 1 ball, 1 strike on Odor. Three runs in the 1st, 2 runs here in the 3rd, and Odor very high in the air, foul on that first base side, and it's a souvenir. Nice reach.
All right, so 5 RBIs for Adrian Beltre tonight. We're only in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Any idea? Career high single game, Adrian Beltre?
7.
Done this for a long time. 6. He's done it twice. So maybe a little personal history for Adrian Beltre. Oh, look at these guys. I just say it and the graphic just pops up. Boom!
This one hit hard out to right field. That's a base hit. Back-to-back 2-out singles. And the inning continues.
Well, I mentioned the struggles against lefties for Elias this year. Now, the first breaking ball that he threw to Rougned Odor was a pretty good one. That one, though, stayed up in the zone, and Rugi having a very nice season. We've talked a lot about the offensive adjustments he has made, and coming into tonight with a .260 batting average against lefties, you'll take that from Rougned Odor, and that success continues with that base hit right there.
Chirinos pulls this one through the left side of the infield. Beltre will be stopped. And the bases are loaded. 3 consecutive singles.
Now batting the center fielder, Joey Gallo.
The bases are loaded for Joey Gallo.
Good job by Robinson Chirinos to keep things moving here with new pitcher coming in. And gets that pitch down. It's a ground ball to the left side. And the Rangers have put together a nice 2-out rally together.
So runners everywhere. On the first pitch, Gallo takes low. Joey walked in the 2nd inning. Look at the last 7 games for Joey. The number's very good. Big left-handed slugger. He's never hit a grand slam. One and one. In fact, this year with the bases loaded, Gallo is 0 for 10. You think he'd be the last guy you'd want to see as an opposing pitcher with the bases loaded. There you see Beltre, Odor, and Chirinos 3rd to 1st. I can't imagine that Gallo could get shut out for the year with the bases loaded.
I'm with you on that.
That one off the glove. And nobody moves up. 2-1 the count. Gallo already with a career-high 87 RBIs this year. Last year hit 41 homers. He's at 37 this year with a little better than a week to go. 2-1. That's a good pitch. Evens the count.
94 right on the corner after Joey was looking at a couple of those breaking balls. Always makes that fastball play up a little bit higher. And listen, 94 is a good fastball. Those 3 breaking balls that were swept away. Only one of those in the strike zone. That gives that fastball a little bit more of an advantage.
Full count now.
So what do you think? When 3 curveballs, 2 fastballs, do you try to flip that curveball in there for a strike? You certainly don't want to walk Joey Gallo, and so it's a matter of what are you most comfortable, which pitch are you most comfortable throwing a strike with here? The problem is, you know that Joey Gallo can absolutely murder a fastball. I mean, any pitch for that matter, but especially a fastball.
3-2 pitch, and that one is off the plate, ball 4, so a bases loaded walk. And it's 6-0 Rangers. Joe is walked twice tonight.
That's really good patience, and you're in a situation where your club is already up 5-0. We know Joey Gallo, the approach is trying to do damage, change the scoreboard, right? He's talked about that. Bunch of RBIs sitting out there. We're talking, who could he get to 100, right? We just had that conversation, and boy, Grand Slam certainly would make that happen pretty quickly. That's great patience.
Calhoun absolutely lashes that one foul. Woo. He got some barrel on that one, but just too far out in front.
I wonder after what he had seen to Odor, first pitch breaking ball, Joey Gallo, first pitch breaking ball, if maybe he was sitting or at least looking for that curveball, and that's why he was out in front of the heater.
1-1 the count. So Elias has come on, give up the single to Odor, the base hit to Chirinos, and then walked Gallo with the bases loaded. And we can close the book on Erasmo Ramirez. 2 2/3 innings. He allowed 6 runs on 4 hits and 2 walks. Well, the breaking ball, that's off the plate. 2-1 the count. Calhoun is the 9th batter of the inning for the Rangers. Up the middle. And therefore it is Segura, and he'll go to the bag. The inning is over. Rangers will have to settle for the 3 runs. 5 RBIs for Adrian Beltre tonight. And it's last inning. The base hit to right. Drives in 2 more. He's 1 shy of a career high tonight. 5 RBIs. The veteran, 39 years old. Meanwhile, this youngster, just 23 years old, Ariel Arado, 2 scoreless innings so far under his belt as the primary pitcher tonight. And he puts the first one to Denard Span right on the outside corner for strike 1. Span hit one to center field in the 2nd inning. He's 0 for 1.
Seen a couple of fastballs like that from Gerardo to the lefties where that ball ends up running way off the plate more than he wants it to. Looks like he might be spinning out. Those mechanics just a little bit.
Weak roller out to second base. Span retired, and we're underway here in the 4th. Well, hard to believe it, but coming up this Sunday will be Fan Appreciation Day. Fans get a 2018 Rangers team photo complete with next year's schedule on the back. Also, fans will get a voucher for a free ticket to select games in 2019. And we're giving away every inning during the game. Lots of different things, including autographed baseballs, jerseys, etc. You can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS. Two balls, no strikes to Ben Gamble, who lined out in the 2nd.
as a right-handed pitcher, you kind of like seeing that big swing, even though it was a big swing and a comfortable swing from Ben Gamble. I think Hirado knows if he can hit his spots, it's the kind of swing you can take advantage of. And certainly Robinson Chirinos knows that. And that's a nice feeling, I think, for Hirado as well, is that when you have that catcher back there that picks up on those swings, adjusts accordingly. See him telling him, come straight toward me, stay through me a little bit longer. And I mentioned, right, that there was balls that were running off the plate because he was probably spinning off to the first base side. Chirinos noticed that. And that's that kind of sign that you give to your catcher. Bring your body toward me. Don't spin off too early. So the sinker will stay a little bit more true, not get too big. Looks cool on TV to see a lot of movement, but that's not always what you want as a pitcher. You want that smaller, tighter movement. That's a little bit more effective.
Ooh, strike 3 called. He gets Gamble looking, 2 away.
So I want you to notice this as well on that replay. Look where Robinson Chirinos is set up. It's middle in. Why? Because he knows that ball's running a little bit more than usual tonight. So he probably thought, yes, away is the best location based on what we've seen so far with the swings. And catchers will do that sometimes. They'll go ahead and set up middle in if a guy's pulling off and the ball's running too much.
Menino pops one out over second base, and what a running play by Rougned Odor. Continues his excellent season defensively by showing some big-time range right there. Inning over.
That's a great inning for the Rangers. Nice job by Hirado after they put up 3, and it's capped off with a Rougned Odor. Great defensive play in short left center field.
News that Jeff Bannister relieved of his duties, and this is his 4th year. Not a surprise. He handled it with class. I want to thank Rangers ownership and John Daniels for giving me this opportunity. We had some great times here, but it didn't last forever. I want to thank the coaches, field staff, especially the players who made it an honor for me to wear a Rangers uniform. And to the fans, I can't tell you how much I've appreciated your support and kind words over the 4 years. I sincerely regret that we are not able to make a deeper run for you in 2015 and 16. Listen, Banny was as popular as they come among the fan base and whatnot. Don Wakamatsu, the now interim manager for the Rangers, and of course we all who got to know Banny well over the last couple of years wish him nothing but the best. I know he will be back at the game with someone next year, maybe the year after. I don't know, it kind of depends on him really, but a great baseball man, and he no doubt did great things here. And I think John Daniels, to his credit today too, I mean, he didn't shy away from that either. He's the guy had a lot of success here, did a lot of great things for us. It just seemed like the time for a quote-unquote new voice.
We had that conversation earlier, right, with John Daniels about that. And he said, you know, letting players go, you always feel like, oh, there's going to be another opportunity, but it's when you're letting staff go and coaches that it's really difficult, because one of the things that the Rangers do so well is that they actually genuinely care about the people in their organization. They don't fake it. They don't give lip service. They actually mean it, and that's obvious. It shows up. You can tell. You spend any time around this organization on the inside, and you pick up on that pretty quickly. And so that was a really difficult decision today, and to have to go through that and have the conversations that are uncomfortable that you don't want to have. And not that people really care, but Banny was great with us too. And I've known Jeff Bannister since 2005, my time with the Pirates in the minor leagues when he was in their system as a rover and then eventually a big league coach. And he was really great with us, which makes our job a little bit easier as far as having conversations about the team and giving great insight to some strategies and players and all that kind of stuff. It was hugely helpful. So from my standpoint personally, I was disappointed. You understand what the Rangers are doing. They got to think about their organization and make whatever decision they think is best, but it's a loss for all of us.
Oh, pop up out into short right field. Gamble thought maybe that was going to be handled by D. Gordon. And Profar gets to second base. The ball thrown away again and into the dugout.
Little League homer.
Jurickson Profar will go all the way around the bases on a pop-up into short right field. How about that? Well, I don't see that one every day.
You definitely do not. I don't know. Listen, if Ben Gamble called that ball or not, but D. Gordon had a beat on that pop-up. He was going to catch it, and for whatever reason, he bailed out. Either he heard Ben Gamble, Gamble was calling him off, or he thought he heard something that he didn't hear. But you watch him here, he's going to have the season. Let's see if we can see Ben Gamble calling for it. We do not. He decides to go for it, and then the throw was just completely unnecessary. Whenever that throw comes from the outfield and leaves the field of play, it is a 2-base advance, and so it's a double and an error, but that is straight out of the Bad News Bears.
Yeah, try it
Another
again.
opportunity.
Out to short right field. This time Gamble does get to it. 2 away. So yeah, there's the ball. And
I mean, look at that. Look at the coaches just looking. They're like, Scott Service, I don't mean to laugh, but he knows exactly as that ball is rolling in the dugout that Jurickson Profar is going to be allowed to score. And he's thinking, you got to be kidding me. We just had a pop out to our second baseman. Like, no, yeah, nothing you can do as a coach. It's helpless. You're watching that ball roll in, and you're like, yeah, that's going to roll in the dugout. And that's going to be a Little League homer. Wow.
Well, it's just a couple of days too late for our Little League
Yep.
broadcast, where we actually highlighted one of his great Little League home runs that went over the fence. This was this one stayed in the yard. Mazzara thinks very high, 2-0. So 7-0 Rangers. Nomar 0 for 2.
I didn't see Ben Gamble calling him off. Did you?
I thought I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I thought I saw him on that replay saying he had it. And then what he did was he looked down. He took his eyes off the ball for a moment to see if Gordon was going to get out of the way. And I think that's where things went sideways.
Couldn't tell. I mean, listen, D. Gordon must have heard something, right? He would have just bailed out like that. And that throw was not near anybody.
That was the
amazing.
second part that was a little harder, I'm sure, to accept. This one fouled away.
Oh yeah, there he goes. You're right.
That look right there.
Yeah, and then he stopped. And that's one of my, when I'm coaching kids, not to get back to Little League, that's one of the biggest pet peeves, because they all want to catch it. Like as soon as off the bat, like 3 kids are calling for the ball, and I was telling them, if you're going to call it, you better be able to catch it. Yeah. It happens. It's going to happen in Little League. You're going to see it. That second baseman's going to call a pop-up. That's between the first baseman and the pitcher, and he's not going to be able to get there in time to catch it, and he should have never called it to begin with. And my rule is if you call it, you better catch it. And you better at least have a chance to catch it.
3-2. And Nomar hits this one to the left side of the infield. Only one man there, but he hit it right at him. And the inning is over. The Rangers pick up an unlikely run, however. And we'll go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Rangers leading 7-0.
Where we stand, we have not been in contention for most of the season. That's not what this decision's about. In fact, if anything, the record of the club that falls on me. I'm the one that ultimately leads the decisions on putting together our roster. Made the decision to trade many of our best pitchers, and I accept that.
That was John Daniels as this ball hit well out to right field, and Mazzara kind of sliced away on him a little bit with D. Gordon's speed. That's going to be trouble. He has a stand-up triple to open this 5th inning. Anyway, I think for John Daniels, that was big of him to step in and take responsibility for this year as well. We talked about Jeff Bannister and his statement and the class with which he handled things today. And I think John Daniels also with some class today, pointing out this record wasn't his fault. It was my fault, and we just need to move on.
It is a classy move because it would be very easy to blame anybody that's outgoing in the organization of any failures from this season.
RBI ground out to second base by Haniger. And there's the first run of the night for the Mariners.
And it's not surprising either. I mentioned about John Daniels, the way that this organization is run from top to bottom, and accountability is important, and certainly not trying to kick anybody while they're down. And I don't think it was an easy decision. Fans have really strong opinions about coaches and managers. We get to hear those every once in a while on social media, and I just ignore most of it, quite honestly.
We'll chopper to second base. And Odor, good hustle throw to get Segura 2 away.
But the reality is that it's really difficult, I think, to evaluate your managers and your coaching staff. Like, when you look at, let's say you're looking at some coaches and you got a hitter who's beating expectations. Is that enough to say this guy's doing a great job? Or this, you don't know. And then you have some others that are struggling. And I feel like a lot of times, just in general, big picture, the coaches end up taking the blame probably more than they deserve. It's a really difficult job, and you've seen those numbers increase. The rosters, right? 2 hitting coaches, 2 pitching coaches, because there's so much work to be done. And I think John Daniels did a nice job of kind of alleviating some of that blame that some people may put on a manager for a season like this. And I think he nailed that one.
2 outs and the 1-0 pitch to Cano, a little bit in. Oh, 0 for 1 with a walk. The Mariners got their first run of the night here in this 5th inning. Well, that one down the left field line. It's 2-1. So it's it's just the beginning of what could be a longer process to really determine where the Rangers are going to go with all of this. We do know this much: Jeff Bannister, as of today, will no longer be involved in this process. But again, John Daniels thanking him and showing some appreciation for what he had done. Don Wakamatsu, who has done a little managing himself and has been a part of this Rangers organization on a number of different occasions, gets the job here in the interim. Two. And that one rolled out into right field. That's a base hit for Cano. Wakamatsu managed for the Mariners, and it was just 20 games under 500 during his short stint with Seattle. But he has served on the staff for the Rangers for each of the last 3 full-time managers, and had those back-to-back World Series runs as a bench coach in Kansas City. A lot of success, a great career, great resume for Wakamatsu.
And he was also asked about who would basically fill his role for the time being. He said Jason Wood tonight, AAA manager. We'll see if that continues. I don't think there's any final decisions that have been made in that regard.
No, it wasn't real clear that we were going to play tonight. In fact, and that almost came through in the press conference today. I think there's some expectation on both sides that we might have just been rained out, but fortunately a lot of the bad stuff has avoided us tonight, and we've been able to play. But he said at the time, yeah, well, Woody tonight, and we'll see. We got to figure a lot of things out. High fly ball out into short right field. Nazar with that long run, but able to track it down, and the inning is over. Well, don't go anywhere. We're going to the bottom of the 5th inning. You don't want to miss it. Adrian Beltre has already driven in 5 runs tonight. He'll lead things off when we come back.
Get one guess at who it is, and it is indeed Adrian Beltre. Opposite field home run for him. And then this little fluke base hit. They're driven a couple of more, and it has been a 5 RBI night for Adrian Beltre as he now steps in for his 3rd plate appearance here. It's the 5th inning. We need just 1 more RBI to tie his career high of 6. Let's see if we got an opportunity to do that before this game is over.
A hole here, 0-2. And that home run that he hit in the 1st inning is 14th of the season. 7 of the 14 have been in the month of September. Well, he has had a huge month.
That's who you'd love to play that game, right? Well, if he was healthy all year, it's a 40 home run season.
We'll tie again, 2-2. Our WinStar World Casino and Resort leaderboard. There you see it, 120 home runs here at Globe Life Park. Only Rafael Palmeiro with 130 has hit more here. That one line foul.
What a play. And really standing up is optional. when you're catching foul balls. If you're in the right spot and you got your glove. I think he caught that seated. Wow.
Two pitch. Getting the sense that wasn't their first foul ball. Kids are that willing to give away.
Unless they had some friends a couple of rows in front of them, maybe, or I don't know. So you saw there that Adrian was 10 away. Most home runs in his ballpark. It's another reason to come back.
Strikes out here to start the 5th inning, 1 away.
24 home runs and at least 10 at home. Right?
Well, you can take your Rangers fandom to the next level and own a piece of the game. You can see how you can get everything from game-used baseballs to bases and a lot of autographed memorabilia. Check it out. TexasRangers.com/authentics. 1 out, and Odor takes up and in. Rugi 1 for 2. Odor has had the great second half. Overall, it's going to end up looking like a really good year, and he's a guy right now trying to find once again what it was that had him streaking after the All-Star break. He has slowed down quite a bit lately. 1-2 the count. Dropped down to 6th in the order these last couple of games. And this one out to just the left of center field. Another hit for Odor, his second of the night. Well, those are good signs.
I think also where he has hit both of those. Right, we see Rugi when he's using the entire field, and you can say this about any hitter. It makes you feel confident that the swing is where you want to see it, but then also against the lefty, right? 2 base hits against Elias here this evening. That's 2 base hits against the left hand. And another hanging breaking ball too. That's good to see that he's not missing those, that he's not pulling off of them.
Now a ground ball, shortstop. Gordon takes it at second, flips it on to first for the double play. 6-4-3, inning over, and we'll go to the 6th inning tonight, where the Rangers lead it 7-1. Visit your local GMC dealer today. And by the Texas Department of Transportation, who remind you to click it or ticket day and night. Well, we go to the 6th. 7-1, Rangers lead. Ariel Lorado getting some run support tonight. Lorado has allowed just the 1 run so far. Gordon with a triple, and then scored on the RBI ground out.
So the plan so far has really worked out well for the Rangers, and as we go through this opener, and I'm sure for a lot of fans, I think it's worth repeating kind of the conversation of why teams are doing this. So in the case of the Rangers, they bring in Gerardo to start at the 6th spot in the order, with the idea that if he can get deep into the game, he doesn't have to face the top part of the order 3rd time through. So currently right now facing Kyle Seager, he'll then face Denard Span next for the 3rd time in the game. So when he gets to the 3rd time through the order, he's actually doing it on the bottom half instead of the top half, which never is going to be perfect and work out exactly the way that you want it to, but that is the idea, that you can get a would-be starter to face anywhere from 19 to 23 hitters without having to see that middle of the order a 3rd time. Put him in a better chance to succeed.
Right, and instead of that point coming in the 5th inning, Maybe you get to the 6th, and now most teams, I just feel like most teams feel like they have a 7, 8, 9 kind of rotation in their bullpen for handling the lead, and I think that's a big part of it. Is a line out to left field is out number 1. If you feel like you can get your starter by using an opener to help him there, get him through, let's say, 6 innings, well, most teams feel pretty good going 7, 8, 9. It's when you have to bridge from a shorter start, let's say 4 or 5 innings, and get to that 7th inning, that oftentimes teams run into trouble. Ground ball, second base. And an easy hop for Odor, 2 away. All right, time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in again with John Radigan.
Right fielder, Ben Gamble.
Love it. Atta babe. Thank you, John.
One can only hope. Which is automatic update, regardless of what's going on. The other part too is you let the score kind of dictate, what happens next, right? So we saw some action in the Ranger bullpen, but here is Gerardo at 67 pitches, 3rd time through the order. If he can get through Ben Gamble, I don't know. I think about maybe giving him an opportunity to go back out there, face 8-9-1 potentially. Maybe not. There's always that upside and the idea of allowing a guy to have a nice, clean, positive finish. I don't know. For me, in September, even though you got a lot of arms down there that you would like to see, I do think you have to prioritize some of those arms. And for me, Gerardo was a guy that gets some priority that you push a little bit.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
He did a great job. Remember the leadoff triple by D. Gordon?
Yeah.
Right at that time, the Rangers were already up at 7-0 at the time, but he comes back and he just pumps strikes and doesn't get behind anybody, doesn't walk anybody. Gets a couple of ground outs, another single, another out. Just kind of cruised along really nicely. This is the good version, and we've seen it a couple of times. That great start that he had in Houston. A lot of fun to watch early on.
Two pitch, and that one in the left field, a base hit for Gamble. Well, the luxury tonight is that they have such a large lead.
Yep. And that allows you to extend him a little bit and push. Nice job by Ben Gamble to line that ball the opposite way. But I mentioned, I think the total number of hitters is really what you look at. Yes, you'd love to have innings, but what is the reality of this primary pitcher, whatever the ultimate name is going to be for him? But it's 20 batters faced right now for Gerardo. Right, so here comes number 21. That's about that range. But again, the score allows you to maybe push it a little bit if you want to. We'll see how things go here. If he gets out of this, certainly could take him out, let it be clean, or do you try to push to see, hey, let's get up to 24, 25 hitters and see how that goes. But based on the fact that Butler is up, my guess is this will probably be close to the end.
Yeah, I don't think we're getting our answer. This ball out to left field. Calhoun to his left, and it's off his glove. Gamble around 3rd. He'll score. It's an RBI double for Zunino. I presume we'll have to wait and see. I don't know if you can give that a double or not.
I think it'll go down as a double. We'll see. Willie Calhoun had a long way to go. And this would have been, I don't know, we'll call it probably a very good play to get there. We know he's still learning the outfield. We talked about that earlier. He got there, yeah, just in and out of the glove. He almost overran it a little bit.
So Zunino at 2nd, scored a double. 7-2 the score. Now D. Gordon, who tripled his last time up. Roll that one foul.
So with the righty Butler up, a couple of righties due next in Haniger and Segura, I'd feel pretty confident saying this is probably the last hitter for Gerardo. When you talk about taking a risk, feeling good about probably it being the last hitter. That's being definitive and really going out on the
soft liner to short, and that will do it. And so Gerardo, they're likely done. After 6 innings tonight, well, 5.5 anyway, Rangers lead by 5. We remind you to click it or tick it, day and night. All right, 7-2. Rangers with the lead, and they will bat here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And James Pazos will be the new pitcher for Seattle.
Yeah, good numbers for him. This is a really tough lefty with some pretty good stuff. And for Pazos, the Rangers have seen him quite a bit. 94 miles an hour on the fastball. The slider is very good. That's been averaging 79, but he has struggled against lefties this year. I'd say struggled, but below average for him. 262. You'd expect those numbers to be a little bit lower. 240 against right-handers so far this season. 8.3 on the strikeout rate, and just a slightly above average ground ball rate at 47%.
Well, Joey Gallo will lead things off. He's been up twice. He's walked twice, once with the bases loaded, which gives him now 88 RBIs for the year. This time leading things off. And he'll hit this one high in the air. Deep out to center field. Going back for that one and gone. Haniger gave it a look, but there's no shot. 38th of the year for Gallo. Rangers back to a 6-run lead.
We talked about the really good at-bat that Joey Gallo had with the bases loaded back in the 3rd inning, and the patience pays off, right? I mean, all those things can kind of carry over. Didn't chase that borderline pitch, and gets one here sitting right in the middle of the plate. It's a 92-mile-an-hour fastball, two-seam fastball, but it did not have very much movement. Joey Gallo crushes that thing deep into center field.
432 feet. At an exit velocity 110 miles per hour, so a smash by Joey Gallo. Delano to Shields pinch hitting here for Willie Calhoun, and he takes high. Bottom of the 6th. It's an 8-2 ball game, and this one again up a little high, 2-0. So Joey, look at batted balls over 110 miles per hour. Joey with 37 of them now, 4th most in baseball. Two and 1. Gallo also now 3 home runs in the last 4 games. And another one off a left-hander. Continues to be a big story. He's had 15 off left-handed pitching. Two and 2. So to Shields this year, he's only pinch hit once. He's 0 for 1.
He struck out too, right? I think it was a couple of nights ago we saw that, if I'm not mistaken.
He strikes out again here. Foul tip into the glove. 1 away. Hey, MLB At Bat is your #1 Rangers app. Customize your experience and take advantage of great features like the MLB.TV Game of the Day. Download MLB At Bat today. Easy to do.
Is she wearing a Red Sox t-shirt?
Yeah, we got a wayward Red Sox fan here. It's all right. All are welcome. Might be an advanced scout. Getting a jump on next year's prep. 2-1 for 2.
They're not going to be here till September.
Oh, so significant jump. Yeah, we got to take into account the weather and all that. It's a ballpark play this time of year.
Maybe that's why, right? What's it going to be like the last week in September
Next year.
2019? Go there now. Scout it out.
Oh, Mets fan. Poor thing. 2-0 pitch. And Chu bounces this one down to first base. Cano has it. And he'll feed Pazos. 2 away.
Well, it's time for Built for Baseball, which is brought to you by T-Mobile. And we know that Jurickson Profar has proven to us this year he is very much built for baseball. You see him make this nice defensive play at first base. And then a Little League homer. It should have been a pop out, but instead it turned into a double. And then it was the gift that just kept on giving as that throw rolled all the way into the dugout, which allowed Jurickson Profar to advance 2 bases. And maybe not quite as fun as the home run that he hit in the Little League World Series, but fun nonetheless.
So Jurickson here. 0-1 to count. Batting second tonight. Inside the final 2 weeks of the season. Like the regular season will end next Sunday. The Rangers will wrap up the regular season in Seattle. So a lot of the Mariners here in these final 2 weeks. 7 of the last 10 games against Seattle.
I think we'll be in for a temperature shock when we get to Seattle.
I have a feeling it's
How
gonna
was
be
it in the
cold.
Bay Area when you guys were up there? Is it? I mean, I feel like I haven't been chilly at a game since April.
Yeah, wasn't too bad. This one hit well out to left field and tracked down out there by Span. It was like upper 60s, but Elvis had the ear flaps down.
That's right.
Solo home run of the inning by Gallo. The Rangers lead it 8-2. Go to the 7th inning, and about our Kubota power stats. Openers and primary pitchers in September for the Rangers. A marathon of innings and a 3.38 ERA. That has worked well.
Well, it has, and I think another part of that too is the length that you get out, which really matters too. And for the most part, that's been very successful for the Rangers.
The Shields stays in the game in center field, and Gallo slides over to left. Eddie Butler comes on here in the 7th.
Take a look at the numbers for Eddie Butler. These are combined with the Cubs and the Rangers this year. Game number 26 for him with the 25 strikeouts, 17 walks in 45 innings so far. Last couple of outings have been good for him. Really, he's been on a nice little run here as of late. You go all the way back to September 8th and look at Eddie Butler's line. He's thrown the ball pretty well here lately. Totals for him, and over those 5 games, a 2.25 ERA.
This ball hit sharply by third and into left field. Haniger digs for second base, and he will be in there. A leadoff double in this 7th inning. Haniger's been on twice tonight now.
You mentioned how good he has been in the leadoff spot. It's rare that you get multiple opportunities to actually lead off an inning. Good look at the 4-seam fastball grip, and not a bad pitch at all. Pretty well located down and in, but Haniger's able to hit it hard enough down the line, and Adrian Beltre has got no chance. And it's an easy leadoff double.
So right away, Butler has to deal with a base runner. Gene Segura, the hitter, and that one off the plate outside. Segura 0 for 3 is flied out and grounded out on a couple of occasions. That one in the dirt goes to the backstop. Haniger moves to third base on the wild pitch. Not a good start to the 7th inning for Eddie Butler.
See that changeup right there. Good look at the grip, and he pulled it straight down. Looked like he was really trying to make sure he got downward movement, but just kind of overcompensated a little bit and ended up spiking that, even yanking it a little bit.
3-0. Rangers up by 6. But Alex Claudio getting ready in that bullpen in a hurry. Depending on what happens here with Segura, who knows? We might see Claudio. 5 of the next 7 hitters are lefties. 3-1.
Follow Andrew Simon on Twitter from StatCast. Pretty interesting guy. He's always got some. He doesn't tweet out a ton. He's got some really good information. But he just mentioned that Joey's home run, the 15 home runs against lefties this year. It's the first since Adam Dunn to have that many back in 2012. And we're talking a little bit about how there's a lot of similarities between the two as hitters, although Joey's the first to try to stay away from any comps as far as other players in the past. See it there, 15 home runs against left-handed pitchers. So as a lefty, of course, against lefties. He ties the team record that Rafael Palmeiro set back in, is that 2003?
Yep.
I did my best to help him in that category. Not that year, though. Palmeiro got me a couple times. Let's see what happened here with Robbie on this foul tip.
Again, the follow through.
Oh, well, I don't think he didn't foul tip that, did he? Didn't look like he hit that ball.
He may not have. It was treated as a foul tip.
Yeah.
Which only helped the Rangers. (3-2). This one out to center field. That'll drop in. Base hit. And Haniger in from third base. A double, an RBI single. It's an 8-3 ball game. Don Wakamatsu out of that dugout and signals to the bullpen. So Eddie Butler comes in and cannot get an out. And so the lefty Claudio on to face a barrage of lefties coming from the Mariners here in a moment. Put your popcorn hat on anyway. That's nice.
That is really smart usage there. And then, of course, with the cotton candy in the bag, keep that dry as well. Look at that guy. Get it all in there. Get it all off your fingers. Smell it. Rub it on your T-shirt. Now stick your hand in there and give some more to your brother.
Yeah, his brother wasn't satisfied with 2. A little more. Alex Claudio on here in the 7th inning.
Game number 62 there for Alex. Did another excellent job with the walks, just 12 of those in 64 innings. He's been good over his last 6, just 1 run allowed over that time, 5 strikeouts and a couple of walks. So Alex has been throwing the ball well here lately.
Well, he's off the plate for a ball to Robinson Cano, who was walked and singled tonight, 1 for 2. Floats just off the plate again. 2-0.
Is it possible that we get under 70 degrees? It's 74 degrees right now here with the rain. Could we?
That's pretty significant. Get down that
60s?
far. Yeah. That's a strike. Well, this game was in peril today, most of the day, and all sorts of really harrowing weather predictions about the rain tonight and whether we'd ever even throw a pitch. As we play here in the 7th now, and really been undisturbed tonight.
It's like a rumor mill around here, right? At the press box level when there's rain. What'd you hear? Who'd you hear it from, right? Oh, we're going to play. It's going to be a regular doubleheader tomorrow. It's going to start at 3, right? All it's not going to be a split and all this stuff that goes around and around. And it's worse than MLB trade rumors up here.
2-1. Claudio catches a corner. The only thing more predictable than that rumor mill that you talked about on the days where there's some rain expected is conversation about the quote-unquote window that may exist. And I think there's going to be a window at 6:45 to 7:30. There's always a window that might allow us to get a little bit in. 2-2. And this ball out to right field. That will drop in for a base hit. Segura to second, Cano at first. Second hit of the night for Cano. That brings up Nelson Cruz.
Designated hitter Nelson Cruz.
Cruz, the only right-hander among the first 5 hitters that Claudio could potentially see this inning, or at least in the lineup.
We'll see here for Alex. Obviously, the idea here is to try to keep the ball on the ground with Nelson Cruz. He has grounded into 14 double plays this season. We know Alex is really good in these spots. He's got himself 9 double plays himself. The ground ball rate is at 63% for Alex Claudio. That is nearly 20% above league average. He needs one right here.
He hadn't had a lot of opportunities to face Cruz. Low, 1-1. Cruz 2 for 4 against him. So a couple of walks. There's Cano at first and Segura out there at second base. A run across. Still nobody out. 2-1.
So a little surprising that the batting average is a few points lower against lefties for Nelson Cruz than righties. Not much, 258 to 264 coming in, so just 6 points. But the OPS, the on pace plus the slugging, is significantly higher against left-handers. At OPS 920 this year, 855 against righties. Both really good numbers, but significantly higher against lefties. He took that big swing on that changeup and ended up swinging right through it. And that little bit of rain, that bat came flying out of his hand. I don't know if it's because of the rain or just because of how hard he swung.
It's always weird when it's the bottom hand that falls off the bat.
It was actually a fastball. I'll take that back. Two-seam fastball in the corner. He missed that by a pretty good amount.
Decent way to hurt yourself. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cruz 0 for 2 with a walk. It's a full count.
The changeup's been cutting a little bit tonight so far for Alex. We've seen a couple of those that have gone in. And as much as we talk about Jose Leclerc, who does that intentionally, I don't think Alex wants to necessarily cut that changeup into a right-hander like Cruz. The better version is the one that kind of tumbles and even fades away a little bit to righties. There's Jose.
Tapper foul. We'll do it again.
That was about perfect. He threw that two-seam fastball right on the corner, down and away, and Cruz was able to foul it off. You see those double barrels going on down in the Ranger bullpen.
Seventh pitch of the at-bat. And a bouncer third base. Beltre to second. Odor on to first. Double play. There's a little lift for Alex Claudio. 5-4 to 3. And there are 2 gone.
Great back-to-back execution from the lefty Alex Claudio, going up against a really tough righty. First it was the fastball. That time it was the changeup right at the bottom of the zone, outer third. It was a hard hit ground ball, but the Rangers have been so good at turning these double plays, especially with a guy like Cruz running. That's a nice job all the way around. And for the Rangers now, it is double play number 156 turned on the season.
Brings just a little more rain with it. It's Kyle Seager. He will foul off. Strike 1. Seager 0 for 3.
I wonder how many times he's seen a changeup up and in from a lefty this year. That pitch was up and in and off the plate, and he still swung at it. He's probably laughing about it a little bit as he has struggled mightily. You see the numbers against Alex Claudio, 1 for 12.
Ground screw. Looking like they're poised. This will be interesting. 2 out here with the 7th inning. Segura at third. And that one way inside. It's 1-1.
Yeah, for Dennis Klein and the crew, I mean, this is their baby, that field, and they know that obviously the Rangers want to continue playing. At the same time, they're always concerned about the damage and making sure the field's not taking on too much water. Smiling right now. Cornell, we'll see how long that lasts if this rain continues to pick up.
Here's strike 2. And I wonder if they'll be just a tad more careful with a game plan tomorrow and a lot more rain coming. Well, they're not going to quite get through this top of the 7th with a count of ball and 2 strikes. Dennis Klein and company going to have to cover the field. So the umpiring crew pulls them off the field. Rangers with the 5-run lead. And here comes the target. Well, that is coming down quickly. And that was probably a pretty good call right there on the part of Larry Vanover to get him off in a hurry. On the one hand, you're thinking, well, yeah, I'd like to get that final out of the inning. On the other hand,
1 strike away, too.
Yeah, I mean.
But you probably shouldn't do that as an umpire, right? I mean, that's the thing. You sit there, we're watching, you might be watching, let's try to get that last out, but